Morning, everybody in Chuckadelphia. I'm here to let you know that sometimes that stupid scale can be full of spit, man. It can be a big fat liar. Let's talk about it in a couple minutes here. See you in a moment. So today I'm going to be going to see Dr. Fortino and for a checkup, and we'll talk about health stuff, and I'll probably step on the scale to see how I'm doing. And you know, one of the things that I think is really fascinating about this process is like how much I've learned about fitness and health and whatnot. And you know, at the beginning, when you weigh a lot, like if you're dedicated to the process, you can lose a lot of weight at first. But then it kind of slows down a little bit. And if you're not used to that, it can be heartbreaking.
You're breaking my heart.
And that's something that got me in the past. The first time I went to see Dr. Fortino, I went back 1 week later, and I had dropped 35, 2 weeks later or something like that. It was 35 pounds. It was crazy. I was like, wow, this is going to be easy. So easy. I'm going to be in a bikini body by the end of the summer. I reached my first 100 pounds probably at the beginning of August. And that was an amazing feeling. It was great. When it said that, Dr. Fortino and his staff, they rang the bell and they came in and they were so congratulatory. It felt so good. I was like, all right, yeah, okay, now on to the next 100. So the first 100 pounds, it took me about 5 months to get to. And I was thinking, my plan was, man, if I could do this, maybe if I really focus, maybe I can lose 200 pounds by my birthday, which is in February. And I go to Ecuador and visit some people, to celebrate. But just in the same way that life is with everything else, life is what happens while you're busy making plans. I've been very committed since the beginning. At the beginning, like I said before, the only exercise I was doing was pretty much swimming, a little bit of walking, and then once September came along, I started to lift a little bit and walk. But now I'm doing everything. I'm just so active. My time in between my classes, I do my best to get up and move around, take the dogs outside, play with them, take them for walks. Now I'm mixing up weightlifting and swimming every day. I just feel great, And as far as the eating is concerned, I still do a lot of intermittent fasting, but from time to time, I might have breakfast or whatnot. I'm pretty committed to eating good proteins, especially turkey bacon, chicken. Sometimes I have some fish, turkey burgers, stuff like that. I eat a lot of spinach, a lot of leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower. I like to experiment a lot with spices. Can't deal with kale yet. I've done my best to work with it, and I don't know if it's texture or what. It's just rubs me the wrong way. Every now and then, my one sister, she makes this really good kale salad, but I don't know. Kale's just pretty hard. Anyway, the point is, I'm still really focused and dedicated to everything. But sometimes when I step on the scale, it doesn't move. It hasn't moved the same way. And I just saw something yesterday and it rang true. So sometimes the scale will move a little, sometimes it'll move a lot, sometimes it'll stay the same. And I understand that. And I know that when you work hard and when it feels like you're doing everything right, and then you step on that scale and it says that nothing has changed, it can be heartbreaking. It can hurt. It's like, well, what's the point, But at the end, and if you're in this process with me, if you're doing this as well, and even if you're not on this process, you can't always base everything on what the scale says. When I was younger, if I were younger, like a lot of people, and I see it all the time on social media and on TV, like people are focused on what that scale says, but the scale doesn't tell the whole story. Even on Dr. Nell on My 600 Pound Life, when he goes in there and he tells them, when they tell him that they've been doing everything right, but they don't understand why the scale hasn't moved. Well, he says, the scale doesn't lie. And okay, so maybe that's true, but it can be misleading too. I know this, and Dr. Fortino has said that too. And like at the start, like he told me I should be losing this amount each month, and I was doing it at first, and so that's why like it could get a little frustrating. But at the end of the day, again, like the goal cannot be about being perfect, because you're never going to be perfect. But if you're taking the right steps and you're moving in the right direction, the goal isn't going to be perfect. You're going to be getting healthier, getting stronger, getting better, feeling better. You're going to be fighting against the possibility of getting disease, getting sick. You're helping your body with recovery. If you ever get hurt, your body will be able to heal faster. And like all the small things, like being able to get out of bed, being able to walk up and down the steps without worrying about falling or something like that, all those things, they matter. The scale's okay. But I also heard that another really good indicator of the progress that you're making is the tape measure. When you start at the beginning, you should measure like your neck, your waist, your hips, all those things. Because weight's going to fluctuate for different reasons. It could be for water weight, because of water weight. It could be because of like muscle mass growing and whatnot. But don't let that be your only indicator of the progress that you're making. Because all those other things, there's so many other things that are going to be telling you that you're making really good progress. Right? So, it took me a long time to realize that. I would go into his office and like after like a really like good week or two of training, and then like the scale would barely move. And I'd be like, man, that stinks. And I might have said a few words that I don't normally say around other people. But now, I don't really care. And it's okay to see from time to time. It's like a scoreboard. You look at the scoreboard to see what the results are at that time. But how's the team playing? Is the team playing hard? Do they have chemistry going on? Do they look like they're giving themselves a chance, every chance they can, to win the game? It's very similar with health. You keep working hard, stay focused. As long as you're doing everything right, as long as you're dedicated, even though the scale won't say it, your body will in different ways. Clothes fitting better, people coming up to you, strangers coming up to you and saying that you look great. Your family telling you that they're proud of you. That's what matters more than anything else. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope if you're struggling with your weight loss process, I hope that you don't give up. Keep fighting and don't live or die by that scale. Carpe diem, my friends. Ciao, ciao.